All right, students. So next question, as I told you, we will continue now. This question is problem number 19 in your question bank. Okay, a sphere of diameter 30 mm rests on the frustum of a hexagonal pyramid of base 30 mm and top face 18 mm and height 50 mm, such that their axes coincide. Draw the isometric projection of the combined solid. Okay, so in the first video what I have made today, so you would see we have done the frustum of a pentagonal pyramid, right? So here we have hexagonal pyramid, frustum of a hexagonal pyramid, absolutely same procedure to do, but instead of pentagon you are now doing a hexagonal pyramid. Okay, and one more thing is that in this case they have given you the top face is 18. In the previous video what we did, the first video, you could see that the top face wasn't given, so you had to draw the top view, then project it upwards, get the front view and then do it. Here also we will do that, but we already know the top face, so it's not necessary that we have to project it from there and only get the views. We can verify it, but since we have the 18 mm is already given, we can directly draw 18 mm. Okay, so we will start with the orthographic view for this. So first we will draw the hexagon. So no conditions were mentioned here. If you see in the question, there is nowhere any condition given that one of the sides have to be parallel to a VP or it has to be nearer to that or whatever. No conditions are given, so you can place it anyways, but it would be better if you place it in this view, okay, because we can get maximum edges that will be visible. If you keep in the edge condition, what will happen is the number of edges will be lesser, isn't it? So what I'm trying to say is, if you keep it in this way, so you can 1, 2, 3, 4 edges will come in the front, isn't it? If you keep it rotated, that is in the edge condition, then in the front you will get only 3 edges. That means in the isometric view, when you see, the edges may be little lesser, the view may be little lesser, more lines would go behind. So it's always in practice in case of isometry, we have to draw the sketch in such a way that the maximum number of sides will be visible. Okay, nothing wrong if you do it on keeping it in the edge condition also, but it is always a standard practice that we have to show isometric drawings with maximum visibility. Whatever is more visible, we have to show it, rather than showing more things are behind. Okay, so we will take it this way. So base side is 30 mm, so you can take it in ISO only. As I told you, we'll follow the same practice. You can draw it in ISO 30 only here, so that it's easy for us to take the dimensions later on. So based on that, I have started it like this. Then I will do the namings A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so this is what I have told you. Directly you can do it, the top view, because you know the sides, right? 18. Otherwise you have to draw the front view, get the section, from there only you have to do, isn't it? Here you can directly draw. Okay, so how to draw this directly 18? Where will you place it? So I'll not explain this. I leave it to you only. It's very simple actually, but still let me not explain each and everything. So I just want you also to use your brains and tell me. I hope you understood what is the question I asked. First of all, outer side hexagon drawing, base hexagon is not a big deal, you will draw it directly, but how do you know that this should be the exact position where the inner hexagon has to be placed? Of course we know that this side is 30, this side is 18, no doubt, but 18 if I place by mistake somewhere here, then the hexagon will go outside. Now how do I know it's properly placed? That you think and decide. Okay, anyways, if you do not understand, please ask me, I will explain, but I think maybe I should just give you some work so that you can do it on your own. It's not at all difficult to get this edges. From how do you get this 18? Where exactly you should draw? Of course, the center has to be common for both. So I hope I'm just giving you a clue. The center should be common for this hexagon as well as this hexagon. Okay, anyways, so we can directly draw this side. This side is 18 and this side is 30. Okay, so what we need is, whatever we need, we have it here only, but still we will draw the front view. Okay, and there is a circle, sorry, there's a sphere on top of this, right? So that sphere has to be done there on top of that. The diameter of the sphere is given 30 mm, and then I will project it upwards and I will get the frustum on the top. Okay, I'll just project it upwards at 50 and get the front view. Frankly speaking, student, there is absolutely not necessary for the front view, because we are not going to take anything from the front view at all. But since orthographic view is done, why to do only the top view? That's why let's do the front view also. Okay, but this is how the top view and front view will look like. In case, as I told you in my previous explanation in the first video, if the top side was not given, then you had to draw the front view, and then only it's possible to get the top face. But in this case it is not an issue, because top face 18 mm is already given, so if you directly draw that, it is fine. Okay, so anyways, it's better to draw the front view also, but not really compulsory, but let's draw it. Okay, so after doing this, we will follow our usual procedure to draw the hexagons. 2 hexagons are there, so we have to make a box on both the sides, so you can see that it has been done. Box has been done here in the base, right, as well as a box should be done inside this also. 2 box should be there. So we will take the box on the base first, right? So I hope you are now familiar with these concepts. I need not explain too much on this, how to make this box and all that. You have already known, but I hope you are also practicing it. It's not enough that you just see the video and keep quiet, because you have to practice this simultaneously. Okay, so you make this particular box here, get the distance, so you know what are the points you're going to get here is B and C here. B will be here, C will be here. You have to measure the distance properly. 1 to B. If I take this as 1 2 3 4 as the box, 1 2 3 4, 1 to B, 2 to C distance, 1 to B somewhere here it may come, 2 to C somewhere here it will come, D will come here, E will come here, F will come here, and A will come here, right? So that will complete the base. So then after completing the base, you have to take we have to identify the center of the box. From the center you have to take the axis height, that is 50 mm to the top, right? So from the 50 mm you have to get the inner box, the box what is there here. So you'll get when you take the center from here and go for the top portion, you will get this point. So you know from here you get that distance on either side, so take the proper distance and complete the box on the top. Again you will get the 6 points on the top and then join, right? I have just explained the same concept for pentagonal pyramid frustum, so the same concept will apply here also. So I will go a little faster, I will not explain step by step, but I will go through the problem as it is. But I am just telling you, already I have explained this in pentagonal pyramid. Okay, so I have found the center of this, and on the top I will again find the center and draw the smaller box first. Okay, so I will draw the smaller box first from the center. So after the center, what will I do is I find out the points Q, R, S, T, U and P. So I will get the 6 points over here. So I may get Q over here, I may get Q over here and R over here. D will be in the center itself. Not D. S will be in the center itself. And then you have T will be here, U will be here and P will be here. So you get the hexagon on the top. Right. So 6 points you will get. Similarly on the base also, where I have already explained that you will also get the points A, B, C, D, E, F on the base, and then you can join that. Okay, you can join that. First you can complete that part also, but rather we'll see first complete the sphere. Okay, so why we are doing it in this fashion is because, see, what happens in some of the cases is that we finish one object. After finishing that particular object, if you draw everything darker, okay, and then on top of that there is another object, and while drawing that object you realize that, okay, this part will come behind this object and this should have been hidden, then again it's a work for you to erase it. So it's generally better to do it this way. That is, first you do the base, only the reference part of that, then go to the top face, finish the top face, then see whether any other object is there on that. So if that is there, the top portion whatever will be there, we'll finish it first, so that nothing will be there above that, so that whole part will be visible. Then we can understand if this part is visible, whatever comes behind that will not be visible. So it saves a lot of time. Instead of drawing once, then realizing another object, and then again erasing that, again coming down and seeing, okay, this should have been hidden, again erasing that. So let's come from the top. Okay, finish the base, go to the top surface and finish the top part first, and then realize, see what is hidden. So if that is coming on the back side, there is no need to draw that only, right? So whatever is required only we will draw. So the drawing becomes very fast. Alright, now there is one important thing I want to say with respect to the spear here actually. Here, till here, whatever you have done, it's all ISO, isn't it? Everything is ISO. Whatever distance I have told you, whether it may be the base distance of the box, whether it is from the center to the axis height, that is also ISO. Whether it is the top box that you have drawn, that is also ISO. Okay, and please listen carefully, and the spear is on top of this, right? So this is the top face of the hexagonal pyramid, frustum of the hexagonal pyramid, and then on top of this there is a spear. So what should be the center of the spear from here, from this center? So this is the base, right? On top of this there is a spear, isn't it? What this point corresponds to this point right now, this part. So you cannot take this as the center of the spear, isn't it? You are not taking the center of the spear. The center of the spear is above that. So this has to be equal to the radius. That means the height should be from here to above, radius, height. Now the question is, that height is to be taken as ISO or should it be taken as real value? That means in case of this, the diameter is 30, that means radius is 15. So the height from this center, see, for example, height from here is 50, but I have taken it as ISO 50, not actual 50, right? In isometry, everything should be ISO. Whatever is there, every height, every distance should be taken as ISO. So this is ISO 50. Same way, when you are drawing a spear, I have told you this, that spear is an exception. So while drawing the spear also, the height should be taken as ISO only. Okay, please remember this. I am repeating it again. The height should be taken as ISO only. Okay, it's ISO 15 you have to take. I am telling you for this problem, but there are many other problems where you have to draw spears. Please remember it for all the problems. The height will be always ISO. So if 15 I have to take to locate the center of the spear, this height should be ISO 15. So I will take the distance. So you can see this distance whatever I have taken now. Okay, so this distance whatever I have taken, right, this one from here to here, this is ISO 15. This is not true 15. Then what is true 15 in the case of spear? The radius of which I am drawing the circle. Got it? So I will take the compass now. I will keep my compass on this point and I will draw a circle of a radius, right, of a particular radius. That radius is not ISO 15. That radius is actual 15. Got it? That is the difference when you talk about spear or hemisphere. Whenever you take the height, in all cases of spear also, and in, of course, in all the drawings in isometric, the height is ISO. The circle for which you are drawing, right, the radius of that circle is true radius. I hope it's clear. I am repeating that again and again. Radius is height is ISO. To locate the center, this line whatever I have taken is ISO 15, but from the center the circle what I am going to draw will be of true value 15, not ISO 15. Okay, so you can see. Now how do you identify whether you have done it properly or not? It's very simple. So if you see here, from this point, this height is ISO 15, right? This point is ISO 15. Now if you have taken by mistake, sometimes it happens, you get confused, and if you have taken the radius also ISO 15 and draw the circle, then the circle would touch this point, because ISO 15 means it will touch here, right? So that becomes wrong. That's how we judge it. That's how we see the drawing, how we evaluate it. So if you have taken true radius, the circle should come below the line from where you have taken the height. No, it is bigger, right? True radius is bigger, so the circumference of this part should come below this particular line in any drawing on which you are placing the sphere. So remember that height is ISO, radius is true. Okay, so we have drawn the sphere with the true radius. Now you can identify that, see this part, whatever is inside, I need not draw this at all because this is already coming behind the circle, so there is no point in drawing that. So I will draw only this part of the sketch which is darker, so like this. Only so much is visible, the inner lines won't be visible. Okay, now with respect to this one only, I will try to connect all the base points. First of all, I will draw the points, base points, and try to connect all the points and see whatever is on the back side I will not draw at all. Okay, so this is how I connect. So from here to here it is visible, from here to here it is visible, this is visible, this is visible, and of course when you see this, this comes on the inside, this comes on the inside, so there is no need to draw this part at all. And even if you are drawing it, please draw it very very light, but whatever is visible should be made very dark. So this is a complete problem. Okay, so you can see a sphere is resting on a top of a frustum of a hexagonal pyramid. This is problem number 19 in your question bank. Okay, so we have finished another problem on the question bank, and I would like to do another problem in your question bank, but it is not the same question. Okay, the data is little different, but it's a similar one. Okay, that is question number 10 in your question bank. Okay, what I'm going to do, it's not the same question I'm telling you, it's a similar question. Okay, so I'll just do that problem now itself. That is a question that's the data which is similar to question number 10 in your question bank. Okay, the following figure shows the front and side view of a solid. Draw the isometric projection of the solid. So you will have 2 or 3 questions like this in your solution out of all the problems in isometry, where they will give you the orthographic view. Okay, they will not give the data saying that it is a frustum or whatever. They will directly give you the views itself. They will give you the front and side view of the object. Orthographic view of the object will be given. You have to see the orthographic view and draw the isometric view. Okay, so in the question itself, if you see, this type of a data will be given. Alright, so that's what I told you. This question is very much similar to question number 10 in your question bank with change in data. Okay, so you have to see this, that is, one is the front view and the other one is the side view. So you have to see this view and draw the isometric view. So by seeing this, you can understand it is similar to a bolt. It's actually a bolt only what they have given you. Okay, a square headed bolt. So you have to draw a cylinder. Even though it's a single object, it is actually a combination of 2 things, isn't it? It's a prism and a cylinder clubbed together, but it is not placed one above the other, it is joined together like a T. Okay, so dimensions are given. Based on these dimensions, you will have to draw the sketch. Okay, so you can see it's a square on one side. So it's a square, so it becomes easier again. Square 70 by 70, and you have the circle or cylinder whose diameter is 30 and its length is 40. So individually we have done this solution, right? I have explained this in the previous class. I have told you how to draw a cylinder whose diameter is 30, height is 40, and a square prism also I have told you, whose base side is 70 by 70 and its thickness is 30. Now we have to do them together. Okay, so let us start with the isometric view of this, and of course you need not draw any box onto this because these are all very simple components. So let us take 30 degrees on either side. Any direction you can take in this. There is no constraint for this kind of drawing that it has to be like this only. Okay, so one thing here you need to note is that here the cylinder is not vertical. The cylinder is horizontal. Okay, drawing the cylinder vertical will be wrong in this case. You will have to draw the cylinder horizontal. I hope you understand. In the previous video, whatever I explained, that the cylinder was vertical, right? So that means here we have to consider the box like this. Got it? Not like this on the ground. Okay, you can understand, right? It's as if it is standing now. The box is standing. Till now, whatever you are doing, the box was sleeping like this. It is as if it was kept on the table, parallel to the ground. Now it is kept perpendicular. So nothing will change here. Only thing you need to note here is that this is 30 degree only, but instead of taking another 30 degree here you have to take 90 degrees. And 30 degrees, 90 degrees. This way you have to take. This will come into picture when the cylinder is horizontal. Got it? Okay, then the procedure is same. Now what you have to do, let's say this box is equal to how much? What is the size of this? Is equal to the ellipse, right? You have to draw the ellipse here. Okay, so from here we will take the center and then you have to draw the ellipse inside this, which is 30, and the distance is given, it is 40, and after 40 again the same box has to be reproduced and one more ellipse has to be done. Understand how to do this? Then darker, and backside portion everything will be dark. Okay, so this is the object. So in this case you see it's a very simple component actually. So now this is the isometric view. They have given you the front view and side view of this, right? So we'll just go through that again. I'll just come back to that in case if you have not followed. Okay, so you can actually start with the cylinder as well as with the prism. So let's, in this case we have started with the prism itself. So what is the size of the prism? It is 70 and 70. So what I have to do here in this case is, you have to take this ISO 70. Everything is ISO again. Please don't take any actual value. Every value should be taken as ISO. So this is ISO 70, this is ISO 70, ISO 70 and ISO 70. And that is the face here, 70. It's a square, so it's very easy to draw. Then you have to take the distance, that is thickness is 30, right? So from here you have to take ISO 30, complete this part, ISO 30, then from here join this, it will be ISO 70, join here, it will be ISO 70. So one object is complete. Okay, next what you have to do, you have to locate the center of this. That's very important because you can see in the orthographic view what they've given. It is the cylinder is exactly on the center of the prism. So you need to locate the center. So you can directly draw one opposite lines here and find the center, or you can drop a line from here and drop a line from here, doesn't matter, any one will do. So like this. So we have located the center. Alright, so once you get the center, you have to draw the box around that of side 30 mm. Right, now what we have got is the center. That means we have got this value, this center we have got. So what is the distance from here to here? 15. From here to here also it's 15. Here to here also it's 15. Here to here also it's 15. So from this center you can take 15, 15, 15, 15 and make a box around that. Okay, this way. So this is represented by the cylinder. So that is the diameter of that is 30 mm, right? So you can take the distance from the center and take 15, 15, 15, 15 on either side and make a box. And there is one more simpler way of doing this also. It's just another way of drawing the box. One is from the center, you know that already. There's another way which is also can be applied for most of the other objects when there are cubes, and top of that if there is a prism and all that. So how to do that, you can see, just listen here. This side is how much? 70, right? What is this? This is 30, right? So what should be the distance from on either side? So this is also 70, right? This is also 70. This is 30. So what should be the distance on either side? 70 minus 30 is 40. So 40 on either side, it should be 20 and 20. So what you can do is, if this line is already drawn, you can take distance ISO 20 and draw one line. From here ISO 20, draw another line. From here ISO 20, draw another line. From here ISO 20, draw another line. So wherever those four lines will intersect, that will be the box. That's another way of doing it. Okay, I hope you understood what I said. These are centrally placed, right? So center is same for this. So that means if this is 70 and if this is 30, 70 minus 30 is how much? 40. So where is that 40? 20 is this side, 20 is this side. Same way in this side also. This is 70. This total distance is 70. This distance is 30. So 70 minus 30 is 40. So 40 means 20 this side, 20 this side. So from each of these lines, ISO 20 you measure, draw one line. From here ISO 20 you measure, draw one line. From here ISO 20 you measure, draw one line. From here ISO 20 you measure, draw one line. Wherever it intersects, that will be the box. And this can be applied for all the square objects. Becomes very easy, particularly in questions like cubes. The very first question in your question bank, I think so. It said that you have one cube, on top of that there is another cube, and on top of that there is another cube. So if you take this concept, whatever I have told, you can draw those questions in 5 minutes. Basically you need to do is only the first cube, and after that, same way I told you, just measure the distance. If bottom is 70 and on top of that cube is 50, so 70 minus 50 is 20, no? So 10 that side, 10 this side. So immediately leave 10 mm space, draw one line. ISO 10, draw one line. It will become one more box. Again go top of that, and then if that is 50 and the next one is 30, then from 50 minus 30 is 20, so 10, 10 on either side. So again ISO 10 one line, ISO 10 one line on all four sides, and you can do it very easily. Okay, so anyways, any one of the methods you can find out. If you find the center, from center you can find the distance 15, 15, 15, 15 and make the box, or as I told you, 20 you can draw this line, and whatever is convenient to you, whatever you find is easy, you can do it. Okay, so now you have to do the ellipse in this. Okay, how to do the ellipse here? Same procedure. Okay, there is no difference here. Same way how you did there also you have to do. So what you need to do now, you will take this, not this one, okay, don't take this as the reference. Here you have to take this as the reference. From here you draw a line to this midpoint. From here you draw a line to this midpoint. From here you draw a line to this midpoint. From here you draw a line to this midpoint and draw the ellipse. One mistake most of the students do is, when you have this horizontal cylinder, they may consider from here. So this is not proper, isn't it? If you take this distance, you will not get the proper distance at all. So you will take it from here to opposite midpoint, from here to opposite midpoint, from here to opposite midpoint, from here to opposite midpoint. Then draw the arc. That you will understand when you draw. If you take this distance, like this, you will not get a proper arc. Okay, so from here you take, from here to here, from here to here, from here to this point, from here to this point, you will get all the 4 centers and draw the arc. So you will get an arc like this. Okay, that's fine. Next, what you have to do, we have already placed the arc there, the ellipse there. Now you have to check what is the length of the ellipse, that is 40. So you already done the box here. So from here take ISO 40, ISO 40, ISO 40 and ISO 40 like this, and then repeat the box here. Same, that's easy because all 4 lines are there. Just repeat the box there and again draw one more ellipse. Again draw one more ellipse here like this. You'll get another ellipse here. Okay, so that ellipse will be coming in the front side, so that will be visible. And then you have to draw a line that is tangent from one end to the other end here and see what is visible. So from here you draw a line which is tangent, from here you draw a line which is tangent, and the top face of that will become visible, isn't it? This portion will go inside on the back side of this cylinder, so this will not be visible. So you need to know from here to here you draw a tangent line, and from there this much portion will be visible. And of course while drawing the prism part, whatever the portion of the prism will come behind this cylinder will not be visible. So only till here it is visible, and from here it is visible. The remaining all the lines will be visible. So that will complete your drawing. Okay, so you have a similar question, absolutely similar question. I think there the thickness of the prism is same, 30, but the length of the cylinder is more, it is 80. Here it is 40, right? There it is, in the question bank it is 80. So it's a similar question, you can do it in the same fashion, but with the change in numbers, that's all. There you have the base the diameter of the cylinder is 30 only, that is correct. The thickness of the prism is 30, but the length of the cylinder is 80. And I think the prism side is also different, that is 60, here it is 70. That is the only change, only the changes in the number. Okay, so we have almost completed 3 problems in the question bank, and I have told you all the varieties in the case of isometry. So I expect all of you to actually complete this isometry part. Okay, but as an assignment point of view, I would expect all of you, instead of simply giving some other assignment, I would say question number 1 in your question bank. Okay, question number 1 on your question bank, then question number 2, question number 3, question number 4. Okay, try to complete these many questions and submit. And question number 10, because I have done the same problem now. And question number 3 is also similar to this, but that is not a circle, there it is a square object. Here we have a cylinder. In question number 3 in the isometric, you have instead of a cylinder, it is a prism, 2 prisms, 1 prism horizontal, 1 prism vertical. In this we have 1 cylinder horizontal and 1 prism vertical, right? In the question number 3 of your question bank is 1 prism horizontal and 1 prism vertical. So I would expect you to complete question number 1, 2, 3, 4 and question number 10 and submit. Okay, I wouldn't say you have to complete all of them today, because it may take it actually won't take so much of time. If you could do these problems 1, 2, 3, 4 and 10 and submit, I will be very happy. But even then, whatever is possible, please complete that and submit it by evening. Okay. All right. So we will just that was for your assignment. Not only the assignment, you can do it in the sketchbook only, because that is part of your isometry only. Right. So in the isometric, you will finish 5 problems there. I don't know how many problems you have actually tried, but for me, at least these 5 problems you do it and show for the time being, and the remaining problems you can do it later. Later in the sense, within 1 week or so, because we will finish. I will not do any more classes on isometry. I have done all the varieties. I will just show you a couple of more drawings, that's all, and then I expect the remaining problems you will do on your own. Okay. And in the next week, probably we will start developments. That's the last module that we have to do. So once before starting the developments, please make sure your isometry is complete. Okay. All right, students, I will just do one more problem. Okay. I really wanted to do this problem, even though this problem I don't find this in the question bank that is given to you. But I feel if I do this problem, it will be useful for you, because the questions what is going to come for the exam is not based on what is there in the question bank, right? So any question could come, but that is the reason I wanted to do this particular problem, because there are 3 solids in this. Okay. So even though there are 3 solids here, it is all easier. Okay. So you don't have to be worried saying that, okay, we are not able to do 1 or 2 only, then what is it, 3 solids? How can we do 3 solids? But if you really see, it is easier. You just need to know the procedure of how to do it. So I'll just explain this one problem, and then probably we'll stop with isometry here itself, and then you have to do all the remaining problems on your own. Okay. We have given the base for all the problems. So I'll just personally wanted to do this particular problem. Okay. So the question is like this: a square pyramid of base side 40 mm and height 70 mm. Okay, a square pyramid it is, of base side is 40 mm and height 70 mm, is resting symmetrically on a cube of edge 50 mm. So I want you to actually visualize this, imagine this. Okay, so there is a pyramid, square pyramid is there. That square pyramid is kept on top of a cube. So size of the cube is 50 millimeters. So there is a cube, and on top of the cube there is a pyramid. Okay, symmetrically on the cube of edge 50 mm, which itself is placed on a cylinder of diameter 80 mm and thickness 30 mm. I hope you understand. So there is a square pyramid which is kept on the cube. Now the cube itself is kept on top of a cylinder. That means we have cylinder on the bottom, which is of diameter 80 mm and thickness 30 mm, height 30 mm. On top of that there is a cube. On top of that there is a pyramid. So 3 objects are there. All right. So draw the isometric projection of the solids if the axes of the 3 solids are in common line. This is important. So that means they are all placed at the center. So it is not that one object cylinder is there and the second cube is kept in the side of that, and this pyramid is kept in one more side of that. No, they are all centrally placed. That means if you take a center of all the 3, they all come in a same line. That means you have to make sure that the cylinder, whatever is there, the cube will be placed, the center of the cube and the center of the cylinder is same, center of the cube and center of the base of the pyramid is same. Okay. So this is the question actually. So let us just quickly draw the orthographic view. Not really necessary, but I want to draw the orthographic view so that you understand how exactly it looks like. Okay, so you have in the front view, if you see, you have a cylinder whose diameter is 80 mm. This is the base, diameter is 80 mm and height is 30 mm. And on top of that, you have a cube whose height is 50 mm, and of course it's a cube, so base, height, everything will be 50 mm. And on top of that, you have a pyramid. So this is the question. So if you observe here carefully, this axis should be common for all. That's what I meant. So you cannot place the cube here in the side, and you cannot place the pyramid somewhere here. So the center for the cylinder, the center for the cube, and the center for the pyramid should be same. It's the same line. Got it? So it's centrally placed. Okay. So you can draw this sketch in the left hand side, but we are not really taking any measurements from here, because it's all square objects, isn't it? So a square based pyramid it is. So there is no need of drawing the box around it. Below that is a cube, there is no need to draw the box, and below that is cylinder also, there is no need to draw the box. Okay, so let us draw the isometric view of this. So we'll first start with the base cylinder. Okay, so we take the reference 30 degrees and 30 degrees. So what is the diameter of the cylinder? 80 mm. Right, so I have to take 80 mm directly off a box. I have told you there is no need to draw the box and see, because that will be equal to the diameter only. Even if I plan to draw a box around this, it will touch here, it will touch here, the box will touch here. So that means ultimately it is equal to the diameter only, right? So I need, what is the point in drawing that? So we can directly take this as ISO 80 and ISO 80 and make the box and draw the ellipse. It's a cylinder, right? So draw the ellipse and complete the base. Okay, the box is over. So that's a base part, but it's a cylinder. So on top also we need that. So I think it's better to go for the top also. Same object. Again on the top cylinder, right? So top portion we have to draw the cylinder, but don't draw anything in dark. There may be many lines that will be coming. Please don't draw anything in dark here. So base you have drawn 80, and height what you are going to take here is 30. That's given in the question. 30, ISO 30, ISO 30, ISO 30 and ISO 30. Same box will be drawn on the top, and same ellipse will be drawn here, and the same ellipse will be drawn here. Of course, this ellipse, part of the ellipse will not be visible later on. We'll see that later. Okay, so don't make it dark here. So next, take this as the reference for the cube. Okay, take this as the reference for the cube. So what has to be done here now? This is very easy, as I told you. This is very easy to draw whenever there is square. So what is the size of the cube? It is 50 mm. So that means what I have to do now is I have to take this top face as the reference. So this is how much? 80, 80, 80, 80, 80. All are 80. Now I have to centrally place one more box which is of 50, 50, 50, 50. Okay, please listen here carefully. 50, 50 I have to place. So what I can do is I can find the center of this. From the center I can take 25, 25, 25, 25 and make a box around that. 25, 25 means from the center, total 50, right? ISO 50 and ISO 50 like this and make a box. That is one of the possibilities. Or as I told you, the other possibilities, if this is 80 and I know there should be one more box from the center 50. So what is the distance in the side that will be left out? 80 minus 50 is how much? 30. 30 is remaining. So centrally from here to here 50 is there. So 30 is remaining means 15 will be on this side, 15 will be on this side. So to make the inner box, either we pick the center and from there we can draw by taking the center, and from the center you take 25, 25, 25 and 25 and draw. Or you could take this side as the reference, take ISO 15 distance here, draw one line. Take ISO 15 distance here, draw one more line. From here take ISO 15 distance, draw one more line. From here ISO 15 distance, draw one more line. So 4 lines will intersect, isn't it? That will be the center of the, that will be the base of the cube. Done. The base of the cube will be directly done. So any of the two methods you can follow. From the center you can take the distance, or from the edges corresponding distance you can take. So 80, 50 means 80 minus 50 is 30. So 15, 15 should be on the either side. So just leave ISO 15 line space and draw parallel lines to each of the line. So that directly you can get the inner box. Alright. Okay, so this is how you get the inner box. So any of the methods you could have taken either from the center this way. So that's what I told, locating the center here and taking 25, 25, 25, 25, and from there again drawing 25, 25 line and drawing this. Or maybe I find this is simple. You have this line already, take ISO 15 distance here, draw a line. From here ISO 15 distance, draw a line. From here ISO 15 distance, draw a line. From here ISO 15 distance, draw a line. So it will intersect in this particular point. That will be the base. Okay, so since it is a cube, right, since it is a cube, the height of that will also be 50. So what do we have to do? From here we will take ISO 50 height, ISO 50, ISO 50, ISO 50. So top portion also you can draw. So it's very simple to draw the cube, right? 50, 50, 50, 50 you will take on all the four sides. So you get the top first. So the cube is complete. Anyways, some of the portions will come on the back side. That has to be later on made light. I mean, it should be left out. Only things to be dark should be made darker. That is fine. So we have finished two objects. Now again, for the next object, that is for the pyramid, you have to take this as the reference. Forget about whatever is done in the bottom. This will be the reference, right? So again, I think you can use whatever procedure or method I have told you. You may be you may find it easier again. So what is the base? Base side is 40 mm, right? That means this square has to be 40 mm square. I need to draw a 40 mm object, ISO 40 box inside, centrally placed. So if you follow the method which I have told you, in that case, this is 50, right? ISO 50. So 50, 50, 50, 50. Inside there should be a box which is a 40, 40, 40, 40, 40. So if this is 50 and if this is 40, difference is how much? 10. So 5 should be this side, 5 should be on the other side. So same way, ISO 5 if you leave and draw a line, ISO 5 you leave a line and draw a line, ISO 5 distance and draw a line, ISO 5 from here you draw a line, it will intersect at 4 points. That itself will be the base of the pyramid. Got it? So I think this is how you can draw easily. So any object, for example, if one square object is there on the top of that, another square object is there on the top of that, you just have to note what is the difference in their sides. 50 and 40 is there, so difference will be 10. So 5, 5 on either side, you leave the gap and draw. So if it is 60, 40, then 60 minus 40 is 20. So 10, 10 on either side. Draw line 10, ISO 10, ISO 10 on either side, and you can join. That's the simplest way you can do the objects. Okay. So anyhow, let's see. We will get the base. Right. We have got the base here. So this distance will be ISO 5, ISO 5, ISO 5, and ISO 5. Or if you're finding, if you find this to be confusing, you can go with your regular method. Find the center here, take ISO 20, ISO 20, ISO 20, ISO 20, plus symbol you will get, and then draw the box there. But that center method will be applied for any of the objects, because when we have some pentagonal prism or pyramid, then you cannot go with this method which I told you. That time you have to follow the center method only, because they are not square. Understand? The prisms of pentagonal prism or hexagonal prism or frustum of pyramids and all, they are not square. I am telling these things are applicable only when it is a cube or a square based prism or a pyramid. Okay. Next, all the objects are over, only the pyramid is left out. So now we have to find the center, because the axis is required, right? So what is the axis is given here? 70 mm. So find the center of this. So from the center you take the axis height as 70, ISO 70. So somewhere here you will get. From there join it to all the corners. Of course you need not draw it to the last one, I think that will not be visible. So from the center you measure. From this center you take the distance of ISO 70, that will be the topmost point. From there we will start connecting all the points. Okay, so what we'll do now is locate the center. From the center you will take the height, as I told you, you will take it to ISO 70. So from that ISO 70 point we will start connecting it to all the points. That is, from here we will join it to this particular point, okay, and from here again we will join it to this point, and from here we'll join it to this point. The previous one will, the last one will not to be drawn because that comes on the back side. So let us just join those points. So you can see this is the pyramid. Now we have drawn the pyramid. Now we have to identify what is visible and what is not visible. So whatever is marked in the black will be visible. The other things are not going to be visible. So we have to just see that what are the things that is visible and what are the things that is not visible. So if you observe carefully here, this will be visible, this will be visible, this will be visible, this will be visible, and this entire edge will be visible. The inner lines here, what is marked in green for the pyramid is not visible. This is not visible. Same way, and the same lines for the cube portion, only from here to here it is visible. Whatever comes inside the pyramid will not be visible. This to here also will not be visible. Only outside portions will be visible. Okay, so let us just see that. Once you have drawn the pyramid, this much portion of the pyramid is visible. So whatever lines that is coming inside the pyramid, that won't be visible. Got it? So there is no need to make this part dark. Now coming into what portion of the cube has to be made darker. So this will be visible, this will be visible. Only from here to here it is visible, this much small portion. Same way from here to here, small portion will be visible. This is visible, this edge, this base, everything is visible. Whatever is on the inner side, this portion and this line will not be visible for the cube. Okay. So you can see the top face, only so much is visible, and vertical lines 3 are visible, inner line is not visible, and the base front 2 lines are visible. So second part is over. Now we have to see the last one, the cylinder. Now what portion of the cylinder will be visible? Cylinder, this portion, whatever coming inside the cube will not be visible, right? A small curve starting from outside the cube, from there this entire ellipse is visible till here, till it touches the cube. So this portion will be visible, this line will be visible, from here this will be visible, but the inner circle beyond this line will not be visible, right? So that is how you have to identify what is visible. So you can see the top line, if you see, this portion will be visible, okay, and then these vertical lines will be visible, and whatever lines coming, whatever the curve coming outside the line will be visible, inside that will not be visible. So this will be your final view. Okay, is that clear? So if you have a combination of more than 2 objects, generally the objects are all going to be easy. It can be either one cube and one pyramid on top of that, or it can be cube and cube on top of that, or any simpler objects which can be done easier. They will not give you very complicated objects, like you will have a frustum of hexagonal pyramid. On top of that there is a frustum of another pentagonal pyramid, and on top of that there is a frustum of a cone. No, you will not get those difficult kind of problems. If there are more than 2 objects, generally they will be easy. Okay, so if there are 2 objects, they will generally give a frustum, and if they give a frustum, that itself is like drawing 2 objects. So on top of that, generally there will be a sphere or a simple object. Okay, so I think this much of explanation is sufficient for drawing all the isometric problems. In case if you have any doubts, any queries on that, you can always ask me. But before that, I want all of you to try that. Okay, so you try all the problems. If you can complete all the problems at the earliest, it's better. But whenever you have any doubts which you find, in case if you're finding any of the drawings difficult, you can always contact me, and I will definitely there to tell you how to do that. Okay, so for today we will stop this particular session, and as I told you, try to complete your assignment and submit it to me, but I would say whatever you finish, please submit it. Okay, so please don't take that as an excuse also, because I've told you that you will do only the first problem and submit. I expect you to submit all the 5 problems which I told you from the question bank 1, 2, 3, 4 and 10. But in case if you're not able to complete all also, not an issue. Whatever is possible, you complete that and submit it. Okay, thank you.